Hello and welcome to Seeking the Buddha. I'm your host, Tony G. This is going to be a series of very brief 10-minute videos, all right, bite-sized portions of Buddhist philosophy. Look, I know you're busy. I know we no longer have attention spans. I want to impart to you what I've learned. I'm not an expert. I'm not a monk, although I do have the hairline. But I do want to introduce you to things that will really potentially change your life. Buddhism takes you there, man. The Buddha brings new perceptions concerning our experience, and also gives you new perspectives as well. So let's begin. Emptiness is a critical component of Buddhism, all right? And we really can't talk about emptiness without also talking about dependent origination. So these are two vast oceans in which we will dip our toes, all right? And then as the videos go on, we'll get into more depth, of course. Now, what I also want to show you is how these two are intrinsically linked. And we're going to look at a statement by a wonderful monk who lived about 600 or 700 years after the Buddha, named Nagarjuna. And we'll get to that in a moment. But first, I want to read to you four statements that I put together, gathered from various sources, whether it's books or videos, that kind of thing, that I think will help explain what emptiness is. Now, these are somewhat abstract, or at least at first they will appear to be abstract to you. But I'm telling you, by the end of the video, I think you'll have a pretty good grasp as to what they are about. So let's get right to this. Number one, no phenomena in the world, nor in the consciousness of any individual, can exist permanently or independently. Number two, all phenomena that arise occur only through a combination of causes and conditions. Number three, the absence of any one of these causes or conditions will alter the existence of the phenomena. And number four, this demonstrates that all phenomena are composite-based and do not contain an independent, permanent individual existence. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we cannot hope to glimpse into the realm of emptiness without dipping our toe into the ocean of dependent origination, because as I will show you, they are intrinsically linked. And I'll show you this through a statement by Nagarjuna. Okay, so let's take a look at that statement. There does not exist anything that is not dependently arisen. Therefore, there does not exist anything that is not empty. As I said, that statement is from Nagarjuna, the Buddhist monk Nagarjuna. Here's a wonderful book concerning one of the many treatises he's written on emptiness. He kind of took the emptiness football and ran with it. Okay, so let's take a look at the first part of that statement. There does not exist anything that is not dependently arisen. What does that mean? What is dependent origination? Well, everything in this world is dependent upon many, many things to exist, all right? As an example, let's take a tree. If I took the seed of an apple tree or peach tree and went to the Arctic and threw it in the snow, well, guess what? It's not going to take root there because the conditions that need to be met are not there in order for the tree to arise. So the apple tree must have the right conditions of a suitable climate, adequate sunshine, moisture, nutrients from the soil in order to grow and bear fruit. Any of these items, if you take away any of these things, let's take away the water, you will not have a tree. So there are causes and conditions that are critical to the tree's existence in this world, just like a human being. We are dependent upon many, many things in order to exist. All of the causes and conditions that arose brought me to this world, okay? If any of those were not met, it would be very different. I wouldn't be here, or I would be a very different person. Speaking of causes and conditions, the Buddha had this to say about them. When there is this, that comes to be. With the arising of this, that arises. When there is not this, that does not come to be. With the cessation of this, that ceases. Of course, because a tree and a human being and everything else in this world is dependently arisen, we are impermanent. The Buddha said all is impermanence. Nothing lasts forever. We live in a world of constant, incessant change. Everything's always changing from minute to minute, from second to second. Everything changes. Because there is birth, there is death. Because there is desire, there is suffering. These causes and conditions, these are grasping, are self-ignorant grasping, not truly understanding the true nature of our experience, all right? And not understanding what it is, why our mind works a certain way. This all causes suffering. And there are 12 links. It's like a chain to suffering in dependent origination, which we'll cover in another video, not now. So let's take a look at the second half of Nagarjuna's brilliant statement here. Therefore, there does not exist anything that is not empty. Now, a more concise term for emptiness or empty would be devoid of, or lacking of, or absent, or missing. Okay, because we are dependent on all of these things, we are lacking an independent existence. So the term emptiness and empty is kind of a misleading term, because when I first started studying this, I thought emptiness meant that nothing exists, but that's an extreme. That's nihilism, all right? The other side of the coin there, all right, because there's always another side of a coin, right, is that everything is permanent, right? And that's not true either, right? They're both inaccurate because they're both extremes. So Nagarjuna calls this the middle way. Emptiness is the middle way because it recognizes that everything is impermanent. It recognizes that everything is dependent upon something else to exist. And it recognizes that, therefore, everything is empty of an independent existence. All right? I hope that makes sense. So let's go back to Nagarjuna's statement in total. There does not exist anything that is not dependently arisen. Therefore, there does not exist anything that is not empty. Because we are dependent upon so many things to exist, all right, we do not exist independently. We are devoid of, we are empty of an independent existence. Now let's go back to the first 4 statements that I made and see if this all pulls together. Number 1, no phenomena in the world, nor in the consciousness of any individual, can exist permanently or independently. We know that now. All phenomena that arise occur only through a combination of causes and conditions. The absence of any of these causes or conditions will alter the existence of the phenomena. Remember, without water, there is no tree. Well, there's nothing here, really. This demonstrates that all phenomena are composite-based and do not contain an independent, permanent, individual existence. I hope this has made sense to you, all right? But there's one more thing I do want to discuss. So when we look at emptiness, we see there is beauty in it, right? Because there's all this connection, right? We are interdependent with everything else in this world. Everything is linked, right? Sort of like the Hindu concept of Atman and Brahman, right? You got, there's a little bit of us and everything. There's a little everything else. Like we're kind of this drop in the ocean, all right? We are the ocean, and we're also the drop of water in the ocean, okay? The reason I bring this up is this wonderful book, The Other Shore by Thich Nhat Hanh. Look how thin it is. See? If you're really busy, you could still read this. And if you have a lousy attention span, you can still read it because you just read it. Anyway, this is an incredible, incredible book. Seriously, an incredible book. It's written by Thich Nhat Hanh, who was unfortunately passed a few years ago. But he is one of my favorite Buddhist philosophers, in addition to Nagarjuna and, of course, the Buddha. What Thich Nhat Hanh says in this book, and it kind of pulls it all together for me, is he sees a cloud in a piece of paper. What does that mean? Well, if you think about all the things that have to occur, all the causes and conditions that have to occur to make a piece of paper arrive, all right, that's what he's talking about. Well, you need a cloud to create the rain, so the trees will grow, and then the logger will come in and cut down the trees, process the pulp and all that stuff, and make a piece of paper. So there is a cloud in a piece of paper. He uses this beautiful term, interbeing. We interbe with everything, and everything interbees with us, right? Speaking of bees, without bees, there are no flowers, right? And there's no pollination, and we all die, right? So emptiness is really, even though we're empty of an independent existence, we are full of dependent existence. We coexist with so many things, and we are dependent upon so many things to exist, All right. So it's beautiful, isn't it? I hope you see the beauty in it like I do. So, there is one more thing I do want to talk about, and this is a commercial. In a few months, I'm going to be releasing a book called People of the Shrine. And in the book, I take 7 religions and look for the commonalities within those religions and within Western faiths as well. I spent a month in India, several weeks in Nepal, and I went back to India again, studying these various religions, speaking with people of those faiths. There are interviews with people in the book, the QR codes that link to videos and all that stuff. It's a pretty cool book. And I'm just bringing this up because in a few months it'll be out and I'll be talking about it. And I hope you're interested. In any case, I want to thank you for watching. I hope this has made sense. I hope that you've gleaned something from this. I hope I've been able to impart something to you that makes sense and will make a difference in your life. And until the next video, thank you very much for watching.